Ladies and gentlemen, this next session is called Connecting the World Ministerial Plenary, and it is a platform for the exchange of experiences and learnings about the principles being followed by the industry in different parts of the world. This session will focus on improving and sustaining the safety standards in our ever-growing industry. I'm going to request Shri Suresh Prabhu, Eminent Minister of Civil Aviation, Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to please grace the chair of this session. I would also like to welcome on the dais Mr. Qasem Wafayezada, Deputy Minister for Planning and Policy of Afghanistan. Please, sir, join us on the dais. I'd also like to welcome on the dais Mr. Akaki Saghirashvili, Deputy Minister of Economy and Sustainable Development of Georgia. Very warm welcome to you too. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Kenji Hiramatsu, Ambassador of Japan to India. Good morning, very warm welcome to you. I'd also like to welcome Sheikh Salman Sabah al-Salim al-Hmoud al-Sabah, President of Civil Aviation of Kuwait. Good morning, a warm welcome to you too. I'd also like to invite on the dais Mr. Santisouk Simmalavong, Vice Minister of Laos, Ministry of Public Works and Transport. Good morning, a very warm welcome. I'd also like to invite on stage Mr. Chow Myo, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Transport and Communication of Myanmar. And I'd like to welcome on stage Mr. Abdul Hakim bin Al-Tamimi, President GACA of Saudi Arabia. A warm welcome to all the panelists. I request the Chair, Shri Suresh Prabhu, Honourable Minister of Civil Aviation, Commerce and Industry, Government of India, to please render the opening address of this plenary session.
Good morning, friends. As we always discussed, that the ministers have very onerous responsibility, because they are supposed to be responsible for everything, acts of omission, acts of commission, but there's always a feeling that minister is responsible, but they should not interfere. So this is a very challenging issue. Where the interference starts, where it ends, where the responsibility begins, where it ends. Therefore, I'm sure this ministerial panel will look into various dimensions of it. And I'm very honored by the fact that there are quite a few distinguished ministers who are going to speak in the next few minutes. So I'll not speak much, but we request all the ministers, and if I can request them, if you can make your remarks as briefly as possible, then probably we'll be able to accommodate and do even a better job. So I would request to, you can call out Honorable Minister's name, and I will, and if you want, you can speak from there or you can speak from here as you want. I will not speak much, so I will just be here to listen to all of you.
As the Honourable Minister said, let's begin. I'm going to request Mr. Qasem Wafayezada, Deputy Minister for Planning and Policy of Afghanistan, to please share his thoughts with us on this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to share here that this session is timed at 50 minutes in total.
Honorable Minister of Civil Aviation, Ministers, President of ICAO, Dr. Alio, delegates and dignitaries from all around the world. First, I would like to thank Ministry of Civil Aviation of India and other stakeholders for organizing and hosting this mega event. And I hope that it will turn into a platform, into a forum for addressing many big challenges that global aviation faces. Well, today, civil aviation is the most internationalized sector. no one can imagine global connectivity as we know today without civil aviation. Even today, conducting business and diplomacy relies heavily on the civil aviation. Based on the IATA report last year, 4 billion passengers traveled around the world using the air transport. But Afghanistan's share from this number has not been really significant. We had 2.6 million passengers for the last year, and we hope to have a similar share in the remaining 6 billion for the years to come. As you may know, that Afghanistan is a landlocked country, and civil aviation is important to Afghanistan more than any other country, to connect us to the region and to the rest of the world. Afghanistan is not claiming a leadership position in the civil aviation, but we are struggling with meeting the ICAO standards and to achieve the international average on EI. For this, actually, Afghanistan Civil Aviation Authority was established in 2013, and before that, from 2001 to 2013, our airports and airspace was controlled by NATO and international coalition forces. But we started only the transition from 2013, and after that, significant achievements has taken place. Today, after installation, certification, and activation of our WAM ADS-B advanced radar system, we are able to control the whole airspace of Afghanistan with increasing number of overflights year by year, as Afghanistan provides a shortcut for connecting the region and the East and the West. What we envision in our new strategy, 2019-2023, we call it, or we envision that civil aviation will play an important role in the new Silk Road scheme, that we are all part of that. For that, we have envisioned a self-sustaining civil aviation sector which is safe and fully comply with all ICAO standards and recommended practices. Also, we have recently, just days ago, signed a contract with Thales company worth 120 million euros for installation of our primary radar system. With all these systems advancements in place, we hope to make it feasible for all our citizens to fly. As Prime Minister of India has said, we have also those wearing slippers. We also hope them to be able to fly and afford for air transport. We are also working on new big projects. Currently, we have 4 international airports, but we are working on enhancing the capacity of all 30 airports that are active in the country, operational in the country. We have new investment opportunities in the country. We are planning to build 2 new big international airports. Instead of current Kabul International Airport, we are planning to construct a new one in Logar, which is close to Kabul, as we are expecting to have another 4 million passengers for the next decade. And the first phase of this development comes in Kabul International Airport, which includes a new international passenger terminal, new international cargo terminal, an MRO, a 5-star airport hotel, and an APZ or export processing zone, which is open for all investors from within and outside Afghanistan. On the aviation security also, till today we have outsourced it to a well-known company. And I think that we have, given the situation, security situation of Afghanistan, we have the most strict security measures in the world. And coming to the USAP implementation, actually, I had a discussion yesterday with Dr. Aliyo. Thanks to him and the ICAO leadership, we had a CAT mission delegation just this November. They have evaluated the whole aviation sector of Afghanistan. It was the first mission to Afghanistan. They provided us with a roadmap that enables us to map our operations, activities, and those reforms and perform and transform that you mentioned in a correct way. That's we are planning. After receiving this report, we have started developing an action plan for implementing all these recommendations that we have received from the CAT mission, and we are expecting to have another similar mission in the next 6 months after having implemented the first phase implementations. In addition to that, we are also working on capacity building of our technical staff, which is the backbone of the aviation industry if we want to meet the ICAO standards. I would like to extend my thanks to India, to Turkey, and several other countries who have extended their support to Afghanistan Civil Aviation Authority with provision of training opportunities. And we expect their continuous support for Afghanistan Civil Aviation. And we are working currently on a Center of Excellence in collaboration with the Embry-Riddle Institute, with American University of Afghanistan, and our own Civil Aviation Institute to lower the cost of training of technical staff. So that would enable us to train more people, more technical staff with much lower cost. And given these situations, actually we hope that we could make the sufficient preparations for full ICAO audit in the USAPs by 2020. That is why we are in a hustle, as we are considering the safety as our prime responsibility, and given the importance of civil aviation, with a direct focus from the President of Afghanistan himself and the Afghanistan's unity government. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for addressing all of us. I'm now going to request Mr. Akaki Saghirashvili, Deputy Minister of Economy and Sustainable Development, Georgia, to kindly put forth his views.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Minister, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank you for the very warm welcome in this beautiful country. I have to confess, it's my first time in India. I'm very positively impressed with the hospitality, with Indian cuisine, with people, and development as well. And I wish you all the best. It's great honor for me to be here and to have a chance to discuss the latest developments in the civil aviation, and I can bring up some examples, some developments, what we have achieved. As an example, I can say that in Georgia, for example, we have quite significant growth in aviation. For sure, this is directly linked with the tourism, because we have boosting in tourism. Just as an example, in 2017, we had number of passengers in civil aviation increased up to 43%. It was our record. From 2015, between 2016, average growth is 20%. And if you tell me what will be and how can I express the story, success story, how we achieved, there will be only three words: liberalization, liberalization, and once again, liberalization. This is the most important from our case, what we have seen in order to achieve success and goals what we have. Apart from this, today morning it was told here that with compromises, with tolerance, you will not achieve any goals. Definitely, in terms of safety, we should not tolerate any violations or, and as an example, I can also bring another success story. In our case, in 2016, our safety norms and standards were not that satisfactory, but we have implemented several reforms, and now we are the leaders in the region and one of the best in the world. So this is something that I have to mention. Apart from this, civil aviation and improvement is not separate from the tourism. Georgia is a tourism-oriented country, and we have twice more tourists than the population of itself, Georgia, and this number is going up and up. This year, we were on the 4th place with the most attractive and increasing tourism volumes. I should say, you may know that Georgia is a small country. We have only 3 international airports, but those 3 airports needs to be expanded because the capacity is almost utilized because of tourism. We have also domestic flights, and this is also some kind of another assistance for the tourism, and this is achieved with hard work and with liberalization of the market, not only in aviation but in general. In order to achieve success, you should be attractive, you should create business-friendly environment in the country, and that is also very important. Also, I would like to focus to some important issues like creating the platform where the civil aviation, road, railways will communicate and cooperate together in order to achieve, because this multimodal transportation and communication and cooperation creates additional volumes and strengthens cooperation between these modes. And as a result, the industry will boom, the transport and logistic will boom. We have also these examples to bring. I want to thank you for inviting me here, and once again, very warm words I want to address to our host country and to the ministers, to everyone, and it's a great pleasure for me to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your address. I'd now like to request Mr. Kenji Hiramatsu, Ambassador of Japan to India, to please share his thoughts with us.
Thank you very much. Honorable Minister for Civil Aviation, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Honorable Minister of State for Civil Aviation, Mr. Jayant Sinha, Mr. Rajiv Nayan Chaubey, Secretary Aviation, Civil Aviation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to extend my heartfelt congratulations to all of you on this auspicious occasion to inaugurate the Global Aviation Summit 2019. I'd also like to take this opportunity to express my sincere respect for the vision and the able leadership of Shri Suresh Prabhu, Honorable Minister for Civil Aviation, for realizing the Global Aviation Summit 2019 today. It is a great honor for the government of Japan to participate in this important initiative, along with many Japanese companies, ranging from airline operators, and aviation manufacturers to airport operators that wish to work in the field of civil aviation in India. In the midst of a rapidly expanding and changing civil aviation market and civil aviation industry, I totally agree with Shri Prabhu's insightful suggestion that we need to have a multifaceted discussion to deal with the current issues surrounding this industry. More and more passengers are now beginning to fly, as seen in India, and we are facing a swiftly changing civil aviation environment due to the development of new technologies at a surprising pace. We need to look at these challenges from broad point of view, bearing in mind regulations, technological innovations, commercial aspect, security, and impact to the environment. I appreciate Government of India's initiatives for allowing cross-industry discussion through this summit. Please allow me to touch upon the bilateral relationship between Japan and India. Prime Minister Modi's visit to Japan last October was another success with a set of historic achievements of our strategic partnership. Japan and India share the vision toward a free and open Indo-Pacific. There are two key words to materialize the free and open Indo-Pacific, and those are connectivity and quality infrastructure. It is clear that civil aviation plays a crucial role in this regard. In 2017 September, during Prime Minister Abe's visit to Ahmedabad, Japan and India exchanged a record of discussion, allowing Japan and India airliners to operate an unlimited number of flights between the two countries under the so-called Open Sky Agreement. I hope that this Open Sky Agreement will create more passenger traffic, help airlines to establish new civil aviation networks, and encourage face-to-face interaction between two countries. Enhanced communications will result in better understanding about each other, solidifying already strong business and strategic relationship between Japan and India. I'm sure this will certainly improve connectivity between India and East Asia and beyond. The importance of quality infrastructure is widely recognized. Japan is playing the key role for promoting the concept of quality infrastructure worldwide. Japan is dealing with one of the largest civil aviation traffic volumes and has developed expertise in managing heavy air traffic. Japan is proud of its high-quality civil aviation infrastructure, such as advanced air traffic flow management, airspace management, and facial recognition system to ensure the safety of airport air traffic and the smooth boarding process of the passengers. In this way, we are now preparing for the expected increase of civil aviation traffic in Tokyo metropolitan area during the forthcoming Tokyo Olympic Games 2020. We hope the Japanese high-quality, resilient, safe, and environment-friendly civil aviation infrastructure will be emulated in other countries, including India. Japanese government stand ready to support it. I hope in this venue you will visit NEC booth, which showcase most advanced facial recognition system in the world. In addition, Japanese civil aviation infrastructure and systems have shown resilience against natural disasters, such as earthquakes, tsunami, and typhoons. Japan Civil Aviation Bureau and Japanese civil aviation industry have accumulated experiences and expertise on how to deal with natural disasters and to recover the civil aviation systems as quickly as possible. Our knowledge and experiences would certainly be useful to India and other countries in minimizing the damages from natural disasters. I expect that active discussion on the topic of disaster management in the civil aviation industry will take place during this Global Civil Aviation Summit 2019. In the field of aerospace manufacturing, Japanese technologies have started shining again. Mitsubishi Aircraft Corporation is working on the production of a Mitsubishi regional jet, so-called MRJ. Currently, 4 MRJ prototypes are undergoing various testing in the United States. Japan Civil Aviation Bureau will start the flight test early this year, expecting the first delivery in the mid-2020. In the field of light business jet, Honda Jet has been enjoying very good reputation all over the world since its first delivery 2015. I hope that MRJ and Honda Jet will expand the possibility of Japanese aerospace industry, bringing safer and more efficient aircraft to the civil aviation market here and beyond. In closing, I'd like to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude for the people who have been working so hard to realize the Global Aviation Summit 2019. I wish that this summit brings a new perspective to all the participants today, leading to a new phase of advanced civil aerospace processes and systems in the world. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you for addressing all of us. Thank you very much. I'd now like to request Sheikh Salman Sabah al-Saleem al-Hmoud al-Sabah, President of Civil Aviation Kuwait, to please share his thoughts with us.
Good day, everybody, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Kuwait, I am very honored to be in the Global Summit in India to speak in brief about the aviation ecosystem in Kuwait and our objectives to invest a lot in our sector. In general, I'd like to say thank you to ICAO for supporting this summit and also for all organizers for their hospitality and welcome. In this aspect, I'd like to say that Kuwait looked to the Indian subcontinent as original and union markets where we had and we have a long relationships with India, its people. So we do thank the government and people of India for hosting us and having this opportunity. Let me talk in brief about Kuwait. Kuwait, in general, since 2006, adopted the open sky policies. An intention is to look to the aviation sector as important logistic point for the development and the growth of Kuwait. In the last 5 years, we injected more than $10 billion in the aviation sector, and now we are planning to invest more than $20 billion in the coming 2 decades. And for that, we'd like to say we are not talking as government only, we are talking about partners. We'd like to see good partnerships with all stakeholders, DGCAs all over the world, organizations, also with operators and other service providers. And let me talk about our strategy. We are depending on 3 main pillars. First pillar is enhancing our infrastructure. In the last years, we added 2 terminals, and we went through modernizing a lot of our capabilities, especially our HR, then our governmental regulations, policies, and law, in a way to be a very flexible regulator, putting away the operation to the private sector, where we depend on local and international companies to support our aviation sector. Now, the main challenges for us and for all is having the right technologies and the right equipment to upgrade our capabilities. As I said, in 2006, we had the open sky policies. We mitigate the protectionism of policies, which part of the progress of the role of governments. We try to knock down the monopoly. We opened our market for services companies to help and support the environment. We encouraged international and national investors to work with us closely. The market in Kuwait is growing in a very high manner, and I'd like to give you a very short numbers. In 2007, we had 8 million passengers. Now, in 2018, we reach almost 15 million. So it is, as ICAO and IATA's forecast, that it is doubling in less or in 10 years' time. So the future is coming more and more for Asia, East, South Asia, Middle East, for a big growth. Without changing our strategies and our regulations and opening our doors for professional and justified partners and partnerships, we can't survive and we can't give the best of the best. Also, allow me to say that historically, Kuwait were a connecting point between the Indian subcontinent and Europe. And we'd like to resume this role by having a fair and justified relation and cooperation. To conclude, concerning safety, concerning security, I think everybody is investing a lot. But Kuwait Airport received a good awarding recognition from ICAO about their result in safety, and we will do more on that field, also about security. So again, thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, for hosting us here in this lovely country, India, and to talk openly about our ambition to work more and more and support all our stakeholders to have a global aviation servicing everywhere. Thank you, Excellency. Thank you.
Thank you to you. Prominent civil aviation ministers from across the world sharing their experiences, their success stories, and their learnings, and emphasizing on principles that apply to the aviation sector across the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to request Mr. Santisouk Simmalavong, Vice Minister, Ministry Public Works and Transport, Laos, to please put forth his viewpoint.
Honorables, Shri Suresh, Prabhu, Minister of Civil Aviation, Commerce and Industry of India, Excellency, Ministers, Dr. Bernard Aliu, President of the Council of ICAO, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Sabah. It's my honor and great pleasure to have this opportunity in joining this Global Aviation Summit. I would like to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Government of India, in particular the Ministry of Civil Aviation of India, for hosting this highly meaningful event at this fast-growing dynamic city of Mumbai. It's the first time for me in India too. Laos is only the landlocked country in ASEAN and Greater Mekong sub-region. However, due to its central strategic location, it has become a great potential as the country is regarded to be the essential gateway and transit activity in the region. In pursuing such connectivity ambition, Laos, particularly transport sector, has focused intensively on developing and improving one mode of transport to be the multimodal transport. In order to provide efficient and reliable transport infrastructure and facilities, and facilitate cross-border transport of goods and people between and among the neighbors and countries in the region, in order to change our status from the landlocked to be land-linked country. Ladies and gentlemen, in supporting the above-mentioned policy, I believe that this conference could be a great opportunity for an open stage of vision, mission, and commitments sharing for the future undertakings. This will help Lao PDR to dedicate our service to contributing and committing to achieve the anticipated objective in aviation safety, security, and navigation services, accident investigation, and human resource development in aviation sector. As most of us may have aware, we are experiencing the air traffic growth in every part of the world in the past decade. More attention and awareness on the safety and security aspects in civil aviation from the visionary lens should be the top priority. In such realization, it is important focus on building on strong support and capability to the civil aviation safety and security by taking into account the Global Air Navigation Plan and Global Air Aviation Safety Plan. To reflect the very crucial principle mentioned above, to ensuring the safety and civil aviation, Lao PDR has been developing our civil aviation in line with the established national liberalization guidance, regional and international guidelines and plan. Particularly, Lao PDR also has gained the best practice and resilient experiences through collaborative working group meetings and exchange program for ASEAN member states in terms of safety management. Besides this, we have also put in place our vision into effect in order to ensure the transportation development strategy, including air transportation development, would enhance the air connectivity between the region and global air transportation respectively. With regards to the aviation security aspect, it goes without saying that there are many sophisticated civil aviation threats that undermine the security issue globally. Both anticipated and unforeseen, our aeronautic authorities should foresee and mitigate those unlawful acts by using breakthrough technologies in the checkpoints and pragmatic security measures tailored for specific airport characteristics. In addition, Lao PDR had put ourselves into ICAO mission in the Universal Security Audit Program that was completed in November last year, along with subsequent positive feedbacks from ICAO so far. However, even Lao PDR is a small landlocked country, we also aim to achieve the highest standard of safety and security measure from time to time in order to assure on travelers and passengers for the safe and secure flight operation inbound and outbound from Lao PDR, as well as airport services and aviation operation related. Nevertheless, by establishing and investing in both systems of infrastructure and regulatory frameworks, Lao PDR has been drafting its national seamless air traffic management plan to harmonize our national airspace into the ASEAN single sky or ASEAN open sky. Just seamless sky would enhance air traffic management efficiency and capacity among ASEAN member states to facilitate not only ASEAN air carriers, but also foreign air carrier operating with and beyond ASEAN region. Having said that, in order to handle the complex financial management resulting from the increasing air traffic movement, Lao PDR has also been installing the efficient aviation system by automation in revenue management called SkyReef 360 to increase the capacity in building system for the air navigation services chart, and Lao PDR would certainly be in close and good cooperation with Airport Authority of India in the implementation of the Skyreef 360, which is now operated since 1st of January this year. Ladies and gentlemen, before ending my remarks, I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank the Ministry of Civil Aviation of India for hosting and organizing this important summit, and looking forward for the fruitful exchanges and constructive outcomes. I wish the Global Aviation Summit every success. ขอบใจหลายๆ Thank you very much.
Thank you for those words. I'm now going to request Mr. Chow Myo, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Transport and Communication, Myanmar, to put forth his viewpoint, please.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates and colleagues from the international aviation community. First of all, I wish to thank the Government of India and the Ministry of Civil Aviation for giving me this opportunity to share Myanmar's experience and difficulties with this distinguished gathering of policymakers, regulators, and industry representatives from the global aviation. I wish to recall with much nostalgia that Myanmar was a major aviation hub in the region about 70 years ago. The Yangon, then known as Rangoon International Airport, was regarded as the most modern airport in Southeast Asia after it was commissioned in 1957. And almost all major international airlines operated to and through this airport, and included, for example, a BOEC, Pan American, Air France, Lufthansa, SAS, Swiss Air, Cathay Pacific, and of course Air India, which was one of the first airlines to fly to Myanmar. And also on the airline side, our present national carrier, Myanmar National Airlines, which was formed as the Union of Burma Airways in 1948, just 8 months after Myanmar gained independence from the British, was the first airline in Southeast Asia to operate the 4-engine pressurized Vickers Viscount aircraft, the first turboprop airliner in the world, and had also given technical assistance to one of our fellow Southeast Asian nations in setting up their national airline. Having shared the golden age of Myanmar's aviation, and especially after hearing about India's success story in aviation, I'm sad to say that our aviation sector has not fared so well during the following decades of socialist and military rule, mainly partly due to the effect of Western economic sanctions, and also partly due to our closed-door policies, which has somewhat isolated us from the international community. But against this backdrop of Myanmar's air transport sector, we have recognized since the 1990s that air transport liberalization will contribute to the country's economy through the enhanced development of trade and tourism brought about by increased air links. And accordingly, we have pursued the progressive liberalization of air transport in accordance with ICAO's long-term vision of air transport liberalization decided at the 6th Worldwide Air Transport Conference. In fact, Myanmar has effected such liberalization for both passenger and cargo services through its bilateral air services agreements, allowing multiple designations, principal place of business criteria and airline ownership and control, airline cooperation, open routes, multiple gateways, and more market access with unrestricted third and fourth freedom rights. Fifth freedom rights with minimum restrictions has also begun to be a part of our bilateral agreements. Since the first air service agreement signed with the USA in 1949, Myanmar has now concluded 49 bilateral air services agreements, out of which only 22 are being utilized for air services, which includes code-share flights. Myanmar has also ratified 3 liberalized air services multilateral air services agreement among ASEAN member states and also party to the ASEAN-China air services agreement. By enjoying the liberalized provisions in the said air services agreements, 2 national airlines and 29 foreign airlines are currently operating a total of 438 international scheduled services per week between Myanmar and 30 destinations in 19 states. In addition, we are allowing national and foreign carriers to operate charter services to and from Myanmar. Up to now, our national airlines market shares on their regional routes are much less than the other bilateral partners carriers on the same routes due to constraints on the financial, technical, and human resources and immature business strategies. Consequently, they are facing challenges in competing with the more developed foreign airlines in the liberalized environment. However, we will continue in our endeavors to liberalize our air transport regime in line with regional and international liberalization initiatives, as we believe that such liberalization will bring more opportunities for Myanmar's airlines in the long run. But the question is whether they can survive long enough to reap the benefits of route development by the stronger foreign competition. While we recognize that air transport liberalization brings substantial economic benefits to a country by driving the development of tourism, it has always been a challenge and a dilemma for us in balancing our airlines' interests against national interests. We also recognize that in this age of globalization, especially in the aviation sector, sovereign image and national pride has become less and less relevant in the interests of national economy. In order for effective policy directions in the context of Myanmar's political, social, and economic environment, we are formulating an air transport policy, drawing upon ICAO's applicable guidance and the experience and best practices of states more advanced in aviation. On a more positive note, Myanmar is progressing in measures to upgrade our airport and air navigation infrastructure in order to cater to future traffic growth and to ensure an acceptable level of safety meeting international standards. In order to speed up these initiatives, Myanmar is employing PPP schemes effectively, particularly for airport infrastructures. Our 3 present international airports, Naypyidaw, Yangon, and Mandalay International Airports, are being operated by private operators under PPP concession arrangements. These airports are being upgraded by the private operators to reach an acceptable level of safety standards and quality of service. As there are area constraints for expansion of the present Yangon International Airport for future traffic growth, we are planning to build a new international airport for the Yangon metropolitan area, about 55 kilometers northeast from the present location. We have also initiated PPP projects for selected domestic airports, significant for tourism and trade, and are also going to designate those airports as customs aerodromes after the necessary facilities upgrade. And after this, we will be considering whether to upgrade some of our domestic airports to international airport status. We believe that our initiatives for liberalization of our air transport sector and upgrade of infrastructure will bring sustained growth to our aviation sector. However, we are looking forward to learn from the sharing of experiences and valuable insights by our ministerial, regulatory, and industry colleagues on the best policies on balancing market forces and public interest during this 2-day event. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, policy-making approaches that balance market forces and public interest being highlighted in this session. I'd now like to request Mr. Abdul Hakim bin Al Tamimi, President GACA, to please put forth his viewpoint.
Good afternoon. Honorable Minister, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to extend my appreciation for hosting this summit and hosting the Saudi delegation. And I would like to congratulate you for your 2040 vision. Your speech was so exciting. It told us a lot about the future, of what's going to happen in India, and you have infected us with that excitement. So, it is an honor to be here to share a great achievement that my country has made in the field of civil aviation, citing real examples that have contributed to the development, growth, and prosperity of the sector, and to share our accumulated experiences that have influenced the aviation, the civil aviation in my country. On the security and safety issues, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia attaches great importance to security and safety of this sector in order to provide the highest standards of operation and service levels at the regional and global level as well as supporting the programs and plans of our colleagues at ICAO financially, technically, and morally. The Kingdom commits to the international standards, including GASP. My country also supports the Endeavour programs and initiatives of ICAO that aim to achieve the best air safety standards. Saudi Arabia also supported such programs with generous financial contributions, as well as hosting the permanent headquarters of the Cooperative Program for Civil Aviation Security and the permanent headquarters of MENA RSO. Further, the Kingdom in 2016 organized the World Ministerial Conference on Civil Aviation with the participation of 54 countries, 13 organizations, and 400 parties and companies. Sector development in Saudi Arabia in terms of passenger growth, we started in 1975 with about 3 million passengers per year. In 1990, we reached 21 million. In 2010, we reached 48 million. Today, we're above 92 million passengers, and this is the figure of 2017. 2018 will be reaching about 98 million passengers. Also today in Saudi Arabia, we are implementing a lot of airport projects, mainly the new King Abdulaziz Airport, the King Khalid Airport in Riyadh, and also laying the foundation for additional airports. Today we have about 27 airports in Saudi Arabia, but hopefully by the next couple of months we will have about 29 airports and also growing. We also have a program that we have launched recently, which is called the Unified Airports Model, which aims to speed up the development and expansion of airports, increasing quality and lowering cost. In addition, it will be environmentally friendly and contains modern technology. And mainly, we have launched 3 of those prototype airports in four of those prototype airports in the past couple of months. In order also to keep up with modern global trends and to deepen the role of GACA, a royal decree was issued to separate the legislative and regulatory aspects from the operational aspects of the business of GACA. This will ensure fair competition and increased level of operational efficiencies and services, and will also engage the private sector to develop and to manage and run our airports. This will also help develop and support the legislation and set integrated sector strategy in order to make significant contribution. What we have done recently, we have finished our overall aviation strategy, just like you have done here in India. And this goes in line with our overall country strategy, which is called the 2030 Vision. This transformation in our aviation strategy ensures the participation of the private sector and will provide the best services to passengers and protect also their rights, along with future expansion and increased efficiencies of our airport. It also provides competitive environment and effective participation of domestic and international air carriers. From what we heard today, Your Excellency, the growth that you will have, for sure, your neighbors as well in the Middle East, they're going through a lot of growth, and that we complement each other. Our airlines are here as well represented, and they are very keen to participate in this growth on the international level as well, and especially open up new opportunities and new horizons here with the Indian subcontinent and specifically India. And this will be the topic of our discussion during our meeting today. Also, Saudi Arabia is the host of Islam's two holiest mosques. And that creates also a lot of opportunities in that arena. And we are talking about number of Hajis or number of Umrah participants flying into Saudi Arabia. Our 2030 vision calls for about 30 million Umrah passengers by 2030. And this is not very long from now. We're talking about 11 years from now. Today we are about 8 million, so we have about 22 million. That puts a lot of demand on the airlines, on the infrastructure around these cities. So as we can see, the aviation industry is really growing at a very fast pace, not just in the Middle East, but worldwide. But definitely in this part of the world is growing the fastest. And that puts a lot of responsibilities on us as heads of civil aviation, heads of airport authorities, and also the private sector, is to live up to this task and to this growth, because this growth also translates into economic development and economic growth for our countries as well. Again, Mr. Minister, I would like to thank you for hosting this fantastic summit, and we look forward to seeing everybody in April for our global aviation summit in Saudi Arabia, under the patronage of His Majesty, the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you. And with that, we conclude this plenary session. I'm now going